We had the flag. I had the shirt. I was a MAGA junkie.
A woman in West Virginia who was one of Donald Trump's biggest supporters now regrets her vote for Trump because he fired her from the federal government.
You voted for Donald Trump.
I did.
Do you regret that vote?
Yes, I do. Huge Trump supporters. If you didn't get the email on Monday, you're safe. And I'm like skipping down the halls, right? Like, I get to stay. Wednesday, late afternoon, I received a notice that I have an appointment, a Teams appointment with my supervisor on Friday at 9 o'clock. So I knew that I wasn't safe anymore.
You were skipping down the hall. You were so excited when you thought you were safe. You knew others were suffering and gonna suffer, but you knew you were safe. You were cool with it.
Cutting costs and waste and fraud and. We love that big picture. I love that big picture. My friends, we were excited about that because it is true.
I could just picture you and your friend just laughing over others and how others are going to get affected.
The common theme is, we voted for this. You knew this was coming, but we didn't. Like, nobody that I've talked to understood the devastation that having this administration in office would do to our lives, but other people that we love and care about too within the Mid-Ohio Valley.
There it is. It's only when you're affected that you actually feel bad about something. You don't have any regrets for everyone else. It's that you got affected. You're despicable. How does it feel?
It's hard. It's wrecking.
Good.
More Trump voters are publicly regretting their vote for Donald Trump as he continues to back out of campaign promises and instead focuses on his billionaire friends. Now, first it was the Steelworkers Union out of Pennsylvania. Now firefighter unions in New York City are publicly speaking out as Donald Trump and Republicans failed to fund the 9/11 first responder health care program that is designed to help the first responders who are still suffering from being there on the ground during 9/11. Now, you can say that Donald Trump had nothing to do with that, but understand Republicans took that out of the funding bill under direction from President-elect Trump and Elon Musk.
In recent days, there's been a growing wave of concern among some American investors, particularly those who supported former President Donald Trump. As the stock market continues to slide, a number of social media users, many identifying as longtime Trump voters, have begun expressing regret and frustration over the current financial climate, particularly its impact on their retirement savings. On platforms like Twitter, self-identified Republican and MAGA-aligned users are openly voicing their disappointment. Some are blaming recent economic decisions, such as tariffs and trade policy, for what they claim are significant losses in their investment portfolios. In several viral posts, users tagged Donald Trump directly, sharing stories of how their retirement accounts have dropped by as much as 30%. Others say they supported him through multiple elections, but now feel let down. Here are a few examples of what people are saying online. I voted for you, but a 30% loss of my retirement funds was not what you promised. You cost me over $30,000 in my retirement accounts Friday, and I voted for you 3 times. You decimated middle-class retirement funds with this trade war. I cannot support you any longer. These messages reflect a broader tension. As people try to make sense of economic shifts and policy outcomes, the political loyalty of some appears to be wavering.
Sunny from The View is saying that people who voted for Trump are regretting the decision of not voting for Kamala Harris.
I bet you there are a lot of people that voted for Trump that wish
Kamala Harris was in the White House. Didn't vote.
I personally haven't heard of any people that voted for Trump and are regretting it, but if you are one of those people, let me know.
What is this? What's happening?
No.
I gotta say, I could have called this one.
No.
Yeah.
Is it our fault?
It is not your fault.
Whose fault is it? Oh, fuck, I want to.
It is directly your fault. It is absolutely 150% your fault. Of course it's their fault.
Please don't cry like that.
Hey everybody, is everybody having a good day? Hey, have you guys heard this this thing leaving MAGA? Oh my goodness. What is wrong with these people? I posted on Facebook. I posted every day for 2 months details on Project 2025. None of this is a mystery. And these folks, they're leaving MAGA because some of them lost their jobs. Some of them have people that are being deported. The price of things is crazy. Elon Musk is a threat. But the thing is that they're over here crying. Well, folks, leaving MAGA folks, we're screwed for the next 4 years. Trump is gonna burn this country to the ground, and you guys voted for this. You knew, every one of you knew. Trump really ran a racist platform. That's what he ran. He ran on hate. And you guys, you leaving MAGA, idiot, you embraced it. And now here we are. People are whining. People are moaning and groaning. We are screwed. We are screwed. And anybody who has children out there, and anybody who has children and voted for Trump, what the hell were you people thinking? What he's doing with cutting off funding for cancer research, Alzheimer's research, children, there's all sorts of children things that he's gutting. You know, he's taking away aid from other countries to help children. How could you vote against children? I don't understand this. You know, here's the thing, MAGA. Trump is not giving you a refund. You're not getting tax breaks. This is all on you folks. You guys did this. So, you know, everybody hang in there. We got Cory Booker, we got AOC, we have Bernie, we have people that have common sense. I don't want to be paying a lot of taxes, but I also don't want to see people in this country struggling. You know, I don't want to see kids go to bed hungry. I want to see kids taken care of. I'd love to see universal health care. Why not? You know, we're already paying a ton of taxes anyway, so why not? Why would we not do this? So, well, hang in there, everybody. Yeah, you leaving MAGA folks, you guys did this to yourselves, and we'll never forgive you for it. You're going to leave us in a world of hurt. I'm 63. I'm on my way out, and I'm a Republican. I'm a friggin' lifelong Republican, and I hate Trump. But all these young people who voted for Trump, and you voted for him because you think he's funny, you think he's tough, he says what he thinks. That's all garbage. Garbage, folks. So everybody hang in there. This is gonna be a tough ride. This is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, and I feel sorry for the kids. You guys shouldn't have to go through this. I wish you could have the childhood I had. We had nothing but fun, but you know, I apologize for these leaving MAGA folks. They did this to us, and you made your bed, folks. Sleep in it.
I never, ever, ever talk about political stuff. I just heard tomorrow's going to be another Black Monday, which is when the stock market literally crashed. I just think it's so funny because I remember when people were voting for Trump, they were like, oh, it's going to be great for the economy. Like, are you serious right now? But now I'm even more mad because I remember thinking, I was like, oh, well, Trump won, you know, people's rights are going to be taken away, but maybe at least the economy might be good. No, not even that. Not even that. There's nothing good coming out of this. There's nothing good.
Now, let's take a look at a Reddit comment that adds to this growing conversation. So a lot to get off my chest, and the fact that I can get it off is weird to me, but bear with me. But I'll make sure to use bullet points. I also have weird apologies. I apologize them. I consider myself a right-leaning independent. I think both parties have major issues. Honestly, two-party system sucks. 2020, I voted for Biden. 2024, voted for Trump. Why I voted for Trump? At the time, I felt like I was in a position of voting for the best of two really bad options economically. The economy is in shambles. I felt if I was voting for Harris, the status quo would continue with the economy continuing to shrink. The last administration she was a part of wasn't doing anything to fix it and just wanted to print more money, like pumping water out of a ship, to fix the problem instead of patching the economic issues causing the leaks. We're a single-income family. My wife is a SOM who can't work due to illness, so this was a huge issue for us. I felt at the time anything major that he would try to do that was not in the best interest of the United States would be stopped. That's the whole point of checks and balances. At least that was what was taught to us in college and high school. I honestly believe that he did have the best interest, and that most of the ridiculous and stupid things he was saying were either sarcastic or had no weight to it. He said stuff like that all the time last time he was president, and nothing came of anything. It was all a muse to him to get the media riled up. The lack of trust in the media and past overreactions online. This one is kind weird to say, type out, because this has been in my head, and to actually tell anyone this is weird. I'm not a conspiracy nut or anything like that, so no, the media is not out to get anyone. But I do feel in the past the media and/or internet world would, and still does, overreact to anything he did. To the point a majority of the right, and some of us center, would drawn it out, and/or in some MAGAs I know would overreact the opposite. Kind of like a boy who cried wolf situation. Except the wolf became wolfish to meet what the media and world had made him out to be. Ever since 2016 things have always been blown out of proportion, so by 2025, 9 years later, I almost felt numb to anything that was being said. I recently deleted my Facebook because it was nothing but overblown reactions and opinions from both sides of the aisle. MAGAs believing that Trump was somehow a savior to all mankind, which as a Christian is sickening, especially due to how many other brothers in Christ believe this ifikic. To friends on the left constantly since 9 years ago saying he is literally the modern, mean mustache failed art student, and that even you voted for him, you are a literal supporter of mean mustache man, and you should just die. And would constantly pull at straws to match that opium. We are at a spot now, things are happening, and they're like, I told you so. I get upset thinking, no, you didn't, you just kept throwing stuff at the fan until something went through and stuck, and you went first try. Why I regret voting for him. Economically, why some things are cheaper, we are in the cliff of a complete collapse. We have in the time of 3 weeks almost eliminated all trade with the rest of the world, and especially Canada. This is big in the next point. We have isolated and gotten rid of every ally we have, which is scary. Literally destroyed 75 years of trust in weeks. The Canadian one is especially hard for me because I live 13 miles from the border in Western New York, upstate New York, and Western New York have more in common with the Toronto Metro and Canada than we do with NYC and the Northeast Corridor. I live in a port city on Lake Ontario where trade with Canada is huge. Ships come in multiple times a week for grain and other shipments. Plus driving to Canada and Canadians coming to us was not a big deal. We supported each other because we were neighbors and friends and family. Ever since the stupid trade war, I'm afraid of what Canadians think of us and me. I worry if I go to Canada like I do in the past, and they see a New York plate, they might judge me or target me for something that I wanted nothing to do with. It's gotten to the point where if I see a Canadian on the road often, I'm as nice as possible to them driving just because I feel bad what he has done. He is somehow going around the checks and balances. The very thing that would keep him from doing things so drastically. He is simply going around with no to little pushback from anyone and dismantling, and are joking of dismantling the very checks and balances that exist. While he is cutting spending, which is good, instead of welding the whole of the ship, per last analogy, he seems to have taken a stick of TNT and blown the decks away inside the ship and using that steel to fix the holes, creating new gashes and missing sections in the very ship. I'm scared for my family's future. I fear for the economy. Without global trade, how will I be able to afford to provide for my family if there is nothing to provide them with? He is going nuclear on goods, but honestly there is not enough made in the U.S. to support ourselves without trade. The nation is split more than ever now. Everyone seems to be at each other's throats, and I'm worried it's only going to get worse now. How will people treat others who voted for the opposite party? Will everyone just assume I'm a MAGA even though I disagree with most of everything they believe in? Other thoughts. How will people see me in the future? Will we have worst-case scenarios where you are judged or your path of opportunity or escape is by who you voted for? Like my mind races say something bad were to happen, is my family going to be judged for my decision that I made for in November? If I were to travel to Europe for a vacation or go to Canada like I love to do for my birthday, how do I respond if someone asks me who I voted for? How will others see me as a Christian if they knew who I voted for? How does that reflect on Christ now? They see the horrible things Trump did and the Christians who say it's in the name of God when often it doesn't reflect biblically at all. But will people immediately think, well, I want no part of that if that's what Christianity is like? How will my daughter see me in the future? Will she be mad at me for the very decision I made that day? Do I not have to feel bad because my vote didn't count anyways, being from New York, so electorally it still went to Camilla? I'm tempted to write to my congressional representative asking to somehow work with Canada trade and economically. How would that even work? Feel free to discuss all this. I'm just confused and needed to get thoughts out on page. If this goes nowhere and Noon sees this, then at least I got it off my chest writing it out. Update. To clarify a lot of questions and/or remarks. I was totally /am a misinformed voter. I realize that, hence why I came here. I want to be better. I need to be better. I am very real, just a very dumb person trying to learn from his very stupid mistakes. I know rare for the internet world, but it happens from time to time. I want to learn from my mistakes and be better here on out. To all the Canadian folks on here, I just want to tell you the amount of Canadian flags flying here is awesome and we love y'all. I passed so many on my way home.